The UC women's soccer team unbeaten on the weekend with a draw against Houston and a win over first-place SMU on Sunday. Joined now by head coach Neil Stafford. And Coach, good weekend for your team.
Good weekend. I think we gained some confidence back, which was good. And I thought we really improved in certain areas of our game, especially defensively. So I think those things will help us build, especially for this final push with only a couple weeks left in the season.
You talk about the improvement, particularly defensively. I think if you look at the big picture of both of the games this past weekend, it really seemed your team was able to control possession. We saw the limiting of shots from the other teams. That seems like something that your team really put an emphasis on and succeeded at this weekend.
Well, I think it's when you talk about limiting shots and, it's all about what we do when we don't have the ball. And that's been sort of a key for us since we've arrived is really getting pressure in the areas that we need so that we can get the ball back, and the higher up the field we do that, the better off we'll be. We've been really proud of what the players have done without the ball because I think it really gives us an opportunity to become dangerous in transition. And, I highlighted Gabrielle the other day. I just thought her work rate was immense. And, when we do that, we make teams have to think a little bit more than they're used to. Again, a step in the right direction, but still a long way to go.
Speaking of step in the right direction, we saw some awards given to your team this weekend. Julie Gavorski on the honor roll. Vanessa Gilles also honored defensively by the American Conference, and really several other players contributing as well. It was a good total team effort from your squad this weekend.
Yeah, I actually thought Kayla Utley should have been Defensive Player of the Week. Vanessa was immense. She was very, very good in ball winning, rock solid back there. But I think Vanessa has gotten some credit mainly because of what Taylor Pav and Kayla Utley and what Nat Smith has done in goals. So I think, you're right in regards to the fact that there was a lot of people contributing to the success we had this past weekend, and we've got to continue that against two very difficult teams coming up this weekend.
And then on the offensive end, 2 goals from Julie Gavorski. She's really turned in a great performance this season.
Yeah, Julie was brought here because we knew she could score goals. She wrote the history books up where she came from in Northern Ohio. So, we've always been confident in Julie's ability to put the ball in the back of the net. And, again, if you can win the ball back higher up the field and get the ball at people's feet like Julie and stuff, then we're going to be dangerous. And, we're pleased about how things have progressed here, but still a lot to do with 4 games to go.
Talking about 4 games to go this weekend, there's really no getting around how big of a weekend this is as you go on the road to take on Central Florida and South Florida, 2 teams that you're currently tied with 5th in the standings, and the top 6 teams go to the tournament. So there's no doubt about how important this weekend will be for you.
Yeah, but as I say all the time, this weekend is as important as last weekend and the weekend before. We don't treat any weekend differently. It's the same mentality week in, week out, and I don't think it's healthy for teams to build up an opponent bigger than anybody else. And for us, we're focused on our first game on Thursday against UCF, and then after that we'll focus on USF. But again, we're going to treat UCF the same way we treated Memphis, but hopefully it's a different performance and a different result. But our process and the way that we go about things, it stays the same week in and week out.
We'll take a look at both of those games this week. Briefly, in your mind, what will be some of the keys to your team coming away with 2 wins?
I think you've got to match the energy of the opponents, especially away. I think we've got to be a little bit more intelligent in how we set up on the road, and I think that's part of what us coaches are trying to sort of fine-tune. But again, I think you're dealing with 2 very talented teams. They're both have kids that are very skillful, and we're going to have to make it a real effort to not allow them to play the way that they want to do. So I think if we can impose our will on them the way that we've been able to do, I think we'll find some success. And then I think, we've got to be clinical. Set pieces are always important, especially at this stage of the season. We'll be getting the team ready and prepared, for this coming weekend.
All right, Coach, wish you the best of luck in doing that, and we'll talk to you here later on next week.
Thanks. Go Bearcats.
All right, that's head coach Neil Stafford. The Bearcats set to head on the road to take on UCF and USF, 2 big matches this weekend.